didn't know very much about Brownlee Towers before I came here, but it had a reputation as being a really bad place, almost fit for derelicts and nobody else.
Sometimes it's scary because sometimes you hear a lot of screaming, they're fighting, shouting.
This was a desperate place, a place where a lot of druggies were around and a lot of break-ins. It was never ever a place that was safe, and especially for old people. They used to be bullied, they used to be robbed.
The hospital calls it suicide, even my doctor did. He said, "You moved into the suicide place?" I said, "Yeah."
The people of Western Australia are making homes for happiness. The principal authority in Western Australia is the State Housing Commission.
The State Housing Commission had a different role back in the 1960s. It was a land and housing developer for everyone.
The capital, Perth, is undergoing considerable expansion, and the many new multi-storey buildings under construction reflect the growing prosperity of the state.
It was boom time, and the post-war era meant that there was chronic housing shortages, and the government was looked to provide that housing, and that's really where developments like the Brownlee Precinct came from. The design really draws on a lot of the planning movements coming out of the UK and US at the time. And this was Perth's first take at a modern planned community. To the rear of the dwellings is a series of parklands, so you would walk to your destination in a kind of green landscape setting rather than using the road. To the north of the towers is a series of cul-de-sacs fed by a single road. So in that way it was its own little kind of precinct. It had everything that you could possibly ever want. It had a kindergarten, shopping centres, the local butcher, a local school, community halls, bingo night. Why wouldn't you want to live there? Everyone said it would work, but it didn't. Whilst the parklands were intended to be this kind of loving, green, communal environment, we now realise that it really didn't work that way. The houses weren't really designed to overlook that space appropriately, so they became areas where if you were walking, you might have felt quite alone. So these parklands really became havens for crime and disorder. I have heard the comment suicide towers, and it's something that even the people who live there have adopted.
It hurts. When I watched the last one jump, it hurt. She was a lady from outside. She was from psychiatric hospital. She come here and jumped. And I watched her fall right out the front of Francis's door there. I couldn't handle it.
A lot of those instances actually were from people from outside of the precinct. They were not people who actually lived at the towers. It's a burden that the people of the towers live with every day. In 2003, the department commenced the refurbishment of the towers. This meant a full internal and external renovation.
Brownlee Towers has a different image from what it had 10, 20, 30 years ago.
We held some community forums to bring people together to talk about what was like living here, what were the strengths of the community, and also what could we do together that would help strengthen it further. And they said a community garden would be a great way to get people together and working towards a project that they could share and benefit from.
There's something about gardens that really brings people together. You just have these little conversations about, oh, how's your carrots going? And, or you might get a nice big harvest of something and then you'll share that with someone and you'll have a little conversation about it. And it's these sort of connections that start growing from just being in the garden with other people.
marks the spot.
Some people want to have fresh vegetables and they want the delight in growing those. Others want to meet people and build friendships, and that's already happening.
How are you, mate?
We decided to call it the Bentley Community Garden to attract people from the wider Bentley area. So we really wanted people to come and meet and find out that the people who live at Brownlee are no different to them.
Oops. I'm not nervous in cooking for anybody. If you like my food, I'm happy. If you don't like, too bad. Have some.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Life is only meaningful when you have relationship, when you have family.
You teach something that is from your homeland and people enjoy it and like it, and it does feel right.
We'd have to probably cut these up into sections.
I like exercising what creativity that you can develop in harmony with the land.
We've all come from all walks of life. Half of us can't even speak the same language.
Rockmelon.
I know this tree. I grew up with this tree.
Who has the why? Thank you, Clarence.
I have the why. You know the when and the how?
Oh, I do.
It's a public space, or it might be land owned by the council, but it's loved by the community.
Well, I hope it turns out very good and they all grow good so we can get some nice fresh food out of it.